Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled people. In today's episode, just witnessed it. Did not realize I had to spell out the function of a library to a grown woman. Entitled tourists decide locals speaking Spanish all stupid. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Just witnessed it. I was at a local festival today and saw a moment of crazy entitlement. A young black woman was bottle feeding her baby at a table in the shade. A couple of elderly white women asked if they could share her table. She said sure. With no introduction whatsoever, the one white woman reached over and touched the baby. Touched a stranger's feeding baby. The young woman immediately said, "No, don't do that," and the other woman withdrew her hand. Later, when the young woman had left the table, I overheard the other white woman caution her friend, "You know, a lot of them don't like to be touched." What the actual hell? LMFAO, they don't like to be touched. Nobody likes to be touched by strangers? Talking to her friend like she's an alien and it's her first day on Earth. I don't like to be touched by people I know, much less strangers. But at the zoo sometimes they let you pet them. My kids are black. I am not. The things I hear PPL say because they don't know I'm with them is shocking. Also, every time we went out someone would try to touch their hair. Even when they were tweens. I would say, "We don't allow strangers to touch our kids," and 9/10 times they acted offended. It was a good example to me how my kids dealt with microaggressions so much more than I realize. Just because they are white does not mean they had a mother who taught them manners. I'm just shocked by that behavior. I wouldn't touch a stranger's dog without their permission, let alone their kid. I'm white and had to tell random people not to touch my newborn last year and got attitude. People need to keep their hands and comments to themselves. It keeps our children safe. Did not realize I had to spell out the function of a library to a grown woman. Something short and stupid. The library I work for, like many others, especially since COVID removed the traditional fine system you associate with us. My childhood one was 25 cents a day. The charge that does go to your account is if something is badly damaged, lost, or it's been long enough we don't think we're getting the item back, a month with no explanation or attempt to renew it. That charge is the cost of the item, and frankly more effective anyway. I found it disappears when it's brought back. This has not been a particularly difficult understanding to most, but one woman I answered the phone to is angry that the charge came up. I mention it can be renewed, and the reason this comes up is because it's gone extended time with no mention from her that she needs more time. This woman's snippy attitude is she should have to do anything else, should have to renew, which is like 2 button clicks on the website unless other people want it and have a hold blocking that. Can't believe I have to tell an adult she borrowed this. It's not something she bought for herself. It's a community resource to everyone, and that at some point you have make minimum effort to tell us we're not getting it back quite yet. I never minded paying the fines. One day I was returning a book late and an elderly man came beside me and started to let me know it was wasting my money to pay fines instead of returning on time. I responded, "And you know they are just going to squander that money on things like buying more books or craft supplies for the children's room. What a waste of money." Desk clerk smiled but didn't laugh, because that would have been unprofessional. Old man said nothing but walked away. I let them keep the change from my $2 payment on a $1.75 fine. Yeah, I was guilty with a capital G of hanging on to book for a long time. Truthfully, I couldn't find it. Then I did find it, but I looked up its replacement cost and returned it with a check for that value. I got a thank you note. Libraries are a treasure. My library system went to automatic renewals to avoid this sort of situation, but all it's done is make it so that people keep things until they've exhausted the automatic renewals. Now, instead of it taking 4 weeks for people to get billed for items past their due date, it takes 15 weeks. Some people just have to ruin things for everyone else. Yeah, that just means that the library has fewer and fewer items on hand, so books can sit in piles on some random person's bedside table for another few months. Welcome to the industry. Be kind to them. There are people that have never been to a library their entire lives and live with misunderstanding. Entitled tourists decide locals speaking Spanish all stupid. Today I went down to the Walmart subsidiary store here in Costa Rica, Maxi Pali. Had to get a few household items for my guest house. While I was in the housewares department, ran into the worst people ever. A woman and man talking with that distinctive Bronx honks kind of accent. The accent caught my ear, and they were talking so loudly about how everyone local was stupid as a box of rocks. It was impossible not to listen, they were so loud. They were literally slamming the very kind people of Costa Rica for not being the same as they were, talking about how awful Tico time is, saying that the local foods were gross, and just a whole giant pile of nonsense complaints about CR. Braying loudly about this being their yearly summer spin in Costa Rica among the peasants. The woman darted in front of me while I was shopping in housewares and blurbled out to her husband that I was too slow and stupid to make up my mind. I had paused to consult my list. She thought I was Tico when I'm just as gringo as her. The store isn't that big, and I kept running into them again and again and biting my tongue at the huge amounts of dirty looks thrown their way. We ended up together at the loan cashier. I conducted my transaction in Spanish, the local language of course, before switching back to English to tell them that here in our community many people speak English, and many that don't speak it still understand it. Told them they were the stupid ones for coming yearly during rainy season, and left them standing at the cash stand looking like gigged fish. Arg, people like this just burn me up. If you're going to go to a foreign country for anything more than a few days, please learn a little about the culture and language and put it to good use. Don't assume others don't understand English if you are going to insult a native population wholesale like this. Thank you. I'm from Costa Rica, and a large portion of the population understands, speaks English. It's a tourist country, and a number of jobs are outsourced there, including call centers. Rainy season is annoying. That is why you vacation in dry, idiots. Tico time does get on my nerves, but you learn to live with this. I've been living in the US for a while now. So sad to learn Walmart bought Polly. Went on a South American cruise with my in-laws. I try to blend in when I travel. I wear long pants and long sleeves. Light cotton usually. I carry a shoulder bag where I have some water, a camera, and a few necessities. I don't wear white athletic shoes or white ankle socks. My ILs were the opposite. They just screamed, "I'm from the US." South America was great, and my Spanish held up pretty well. I would go into a shop and they would be lovely and usually commented on my Mexican accent, grew up in SoCal. Then my ILs would come in and the tone would change. God bless your in-laws. At least it didn't sound like they were being as obnoxious as these folks. But you were right, a little Spanish goes a long way and you're treated differently. I have this memory of my mother's husband when the family was in Thailand 15-ish years ago. We were standing on a street in a city known for its rowdy nightlife and, of course, bar girls. There were two young Asian-looking women in quite normal clothing for 40 degrees Celsius weather just behind us in line to wherever we were queuing. Damn, look at those prostitutes. It's so sad they have to do this. Then they started speaking our language, Swedish, to each other. He took my mother's hand, said, "Let's go," and fled without a word. The idiot didn't even apologize, but at least he'll think again before speaking in a foreign country. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.